What's going on, guys, and welcome to This Week in the Shop, where we sit down and talk about weird, interesting, or expensive things that happened inside a Mopar shop this last week. And we've got some kind of interesting things here today. Now, first thing, we had a Dodge Viper GTS, a second gen, come into the shop complaining of a fuel leak. Now, we do see a few Vipers come in. There's actually quite a few of them in the Wichita, Kansas area, but I unfortunately am not our Viper technician. We've got a very good buddy of mine who is the Viper tech. He years ago was sent to the Viper certification, the training center, again, back in what, 94 when those things came out. He's been in the Mopar mechanic business for a long time. So it's always fun when we get a Viper of any vintage in, but this one specifically came in with one of the concerns being a fuel leak, and he and I kind of dove into that and started looking into things and found the fuel tank filler neck, where the filler tube connects to the fuel tank, was cracked. Somebody's even tried to previously repair it with some sort of epoxy, etc., and it's leaking. So if you fill that tank over a half tank, it starts leaking. And in his awesomeness, he remembered that the service procedure for fuel tank removal is really bad. On a coupe or a GTS coupe, the fuel tank is like built into that vehicle. The frame rails, the body panels, everything was kind of built around certain components, and one of those being the fuel tank. Now, again, he did a little bit more inspection or look at the service procedure, and sure enough, the fuel tank on a second gen Viper, now there might be other gens, I don't know, requires you to cut a massive hole in the trunk section of the vehicle to remove and replace the tank. Now, I'm sure that had been assumed. Why would a fuel tank ever need to be replaced, etc.? But yeah, on a Viper GTS, a Gen 2 specifically, the fuel tank for replacement will need a 3 foot by 2 foot hole chopped in the interior of the vehicle for that tank to be removed. Apparently there is a old part number filler panel that goes back over. You rivet it in place to get the structure back. So again, that repair was sent. The customer approved the repair, and yeah, that will be quite a thing to see. I'm obviously going to have more picture, video as we're chopping up a Gen 2 Viper there at the shop. But what an absolutely crazy thing that the service procedure calls for chopping a hole in your vehicle to replace the fuel tank. Oddly enough, if it were the RT10 version, the convertible, there is a factory access panel back there, but the coupe, the GTS coupe, they don't have the access panel, and you chop a hole in the vehicle. So, like I said, the customer approved that repair, so we'll be chopping up a Viper, and like I said, I will absolutely pull the camera out and get some interesting photos. So look forward to that in a future episode, I am sure. Previously on an episode, I believe I talked about a TRX radiator. That was a new thing for me. I hadn't replaced one before. Another new TRX thing, TRX water pump. I have not gotten the opportunity to replace one of those until this week, and not terribly fun. Looking down in the engine bay of a TRX, there's a lot of hoses, a lot of cooler lines, a lot of everything in the way. Now, our big, huge, massive air box on a TRX does need to get removed. Again, there's just a whole lot of stuff in the way of a TRX water pump. Once you're finally to the water pump, you've got your bolts there, but you also have a coolant heater pipe that goes underneath the supercharger, bolts to the block, and then goes into the water pump, and you can't even get that darn thing up and out of the way without a little bit of massaging, a little bit of bending. It's not a very fun job, and again, this was covered under warranty, and warranty hardly pays us poor technicians much at all. But got the part put on, got that truck back on the road, but again, just a new thing that I hadn't got a chance to do before. Last but not least, something that I haven't thought of because I haven't seen one in the shop of recently is the massive importance, at least in the Jeep Dodge Chrysler world, of all-wheel drive vehicles and having the same height tires on that vehicle. Now, what am I talking about here? Of course, you need to have the same sized tires front and rear on your all-wheel drive vehicle, but more to the fact of needing the same darn tires front and rear. On our 4th gen Grand Cherokee specifically, we see this come into the shop relatively often with again, Grand Cherokee coming in with a service 4-wheel drive light. We scan the vehicle and we've got a code for transfer case clutches worn. Okay, yes, there's clutches in the transfer case. They could absolutely wear with mileage, with use. But then you do a little bit more looking and you notice that we've got mismatched tires between the front axle and the rear axle. And not the size being mismatched, but the brand or even just the model. Again, that tire might be the same 265 60 R18 front and rear, but if we've got a Firestone on the front and a Michelin on the rear, and you physically measure the circumference of that tire, even though they're the same sized tire front and rear, we have found that between manufacturers, or like I said, even the same manufacturer but a different, tread design. Even if you've got Michelin's front and rear, but it's a Michelin LTX on the rear and a Michelin whatever Defender on the front, the physical circumference can vary massively. A ½ inch of circumference difference ends up being difference in drive shaft speed. So your front drive shaft might be spinning faster than the rear drive shaft or vice versa. And that is basically sitting there melting those transfer case clutches while you're going down the road. Now, most of the time we see this on rental cars, whether it was just recently this week, we had a newer Jeep Compass in the shop, again, with this code, with transfer case issues. Lo and behold, again, it had Firestone tires in the front and a Michelin tire in the rear, measured circumference, and it was about a ½ inch difference, again, between the front and rear. That basically took out those clutches in the transfer case and caused the issue. So unfortunately, with your all-wheel drive vehicle, it's not always going to be the cheaper option if you need 2 tires, or if you've got 2 tires thin and 2 tires that are about half tread, you buy 2 new tires because you don't want to buy 4, but then you've got those 2 new tires at 100% tread versus those rear tires that are 50% worn. And again, you're right back in the same issue with a slight difference in tire diameter, circumference, and again, you are turning those drive shafts at different speeds and taking out those transfer case clutches. It's very unfortunate, and one kind of funny story that I've got here is, again, a rental car company. We service a whole lot of rental cars, whether that be Avis rental car, Thrifty rental car, Enterprise rental car. We seem to get all of them in at least our local business zone. And again, a Grand Cherokee came in with transfer case clutches worn code. We recommended, again, due to the difference in tires front and rear, we needed to replace all 4 tires with matching new tires and replace that transfer case. The rental car company authorized the transfer case replacement and said, no, we will put our own new tires on. Okay, great, so be it. We replaced the transfer case, again, not under warranty, since it's not the manufacturer's fault that you or the owner has mismatched tires that caused that part to fail, and sent the vehicle back to its rental car agency so it could get those tires replaced. Now, unfortunately, about a month later, that vehicle came back into the shop with service four-wheel drive message on, and goodness, what could this be? It's got a brand new transfer case, it's got brand new tires, but once we pulled that vehicle into the shop, they had never replaced the tires. So the rental car company unfortunately got to purchase a second transfer case, and guess what? This time they allowed us to replace the 4 tires and finally get the vehicle fixed and on its way. So unfortunately, you can have as much, tire height difference that could kill a transfer case in a month's time of driving. Now, yes, that was an extreme case, and I'm sure those tires were drastically different in physical size, but again, it's just something to be cautious about on all of these vehicles with clutch type transfer cases. Again, this is not just a Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge thing. Chevy uses a whole bunch of clutch type transfer cases. I mean, I'm sure everybody in the automotive community or manufacturing uses some type of clutch type transfer case in a certain make and model. Again, it's just very, very critical that you've got matching height tires or correctly sized tires for that vehicle. So just a long story of making sure you're not being cheap, because it will end up biting you when you're buying a very expensive transfer case. So those were kind of the interesting things this week in the shop. Now on this week's, cool tool, we need to come up with a name for this. I've got a socket set. Now you might be saying, okay, great, a set of sockets, but this is an incredibly cheap set of sockets, and so far it's been really, really good. We've got a few weird sizes of things on our Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge stuff. One being a 36 millimeter for some axle nuts. We've also got a 27 millimeter for our front crank bolts on a 3.6 liter. And you often need a short socket for some of these locations depending on how they are in the engine bay. One of the other buddies, that Viper technician that I talked about, actually bought this set off of Amazon or eBay. And this whole set of sockets, 26 impact short 6-point sockets, is like $45. That's ridiculously cheap. Buying a single socket from a tool dealer, whether that be Snap-on, Matco, whatever, you're going to be spending 60 bucks on a single socket. This is a whole set of sockets for $45. Now, again, I then bought this same set purely for about 2 sockets in this thing. Here is that, again, 36 millimeter that I talked about, and then the 27, I believe, was our other socket here for those, again, crank bolts on a 3.6 liter. So buying this whole 26 piece set of sockets for $45 saved me, exponentially more by having this whole set versus, again, buying it individually from one of the expensive tool trucks. And again, this is like 10 through 36. I think it does skip a few here and there, probably, maybe, but dang, that's hard to beat. And they are thick, nice impact sockets. And I've been beating on this 36 millimeter pretty heavily here recently at work, and it's doing just fine. And even if you broke one, you could just spend another $45 and get another set of these things. So again, all the tools I'm going to be showing aren't cool, awesome, amazing, expensive things. Some of them are $45 impact socket sets that just happen to work really well. I am interested to see what you guys think. Would you guys be interested in a tool walkthrough? What I've got a 17-year technician on tools, brands there at the shop. I think you guys would be really, really surprised to see what I've got, what I make a living with, because it's not fancy. It's not expensive. There is a lot of off-brand things that work amazingly, But there is a few things that you've got to go expensive on, or you're going to be broken every single day. So I don't know, let me know down in the comment section. Would you be interested in a tool box, tool cart walkthrough there at the shop? Because that might be kind of interesting for some of you guys. Now, I will have a link down in the description for these Vevor brand sockets. There are shorts and deeps. Again, I specifically bought these shorts for some of our tight engine bay applications, but maybe you're just interested in a set of deep impact sockets. And again, I would so far highly recommend these. These at this price, you can't beat them. So guys, I think that's going to do it for this week in the shop. I'm kind of excited to see a Viper get cut up in the upcoming weeks. And yeah, go out to your all-wheel drive vehicle and make sure all your tires are matching and the same size and the same brand. So I'm not there putting a transfer case in your Jeep, Dodge, Chrysler next week on the channel. So guys, thanks for coming down with me here and checking out some sockets and some broken vehicles this week in the shop. And guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys next time.